Good afternoon, students and friends. Today, in this learning program, we are going to learn about static electricity and textile for anti-static application. First of all, we should know about what is electricity. Electricity is the flow of electrons is known as electricity. As we all know that all the matter is made up of atoms, and atom has a nucleus. So this nucleus is made up of or contains protons and neutrons. So protons has a positively charged particles and neutrons are neutral charged particles, or they don't have, or they are uncharged particles. Now, what is static electricity? Static electricity occurs when there is a buildup of electric charge on the surface of the material. On the surface of the materials. So it is called static because the charge do not move. So static electricity is charge. Static means charge does not move or flow. So now there are two kinds of charges are there. How it is? If we'll take a plastic ruler and we rub it, and after rubbing it, if we'll take a few pieces of paper, it will attract the pieces of paper or scrap of papers. So ruler carries electric charge. It exerts electric force on this paper scraps. So this charging method is called charging by friction. So the interaction between static electric charge is called electrostatics. In a simpler form, static electricity is a surface phenomenon. It is the result of an imbalance between negative and positive charges in an object. So these charges can build up on the surface of an object until they find a way to be released or discharged. Here you can see this static electricity follows. It has some rules. See, unlike charges, they get attract here, like charges repel each other. So static charges can be neutralized by making them come in contact with charges of opposite polarity. Here, if they have opposite polarity, they will attract to each other. Now, rules of static electricity, as I told you, objects with like or same charges repel, but objects with unlike charges attract. Charged objects attract neutral objects also. Where do these charges come from? Yes, if we rub a balloon with a piece of wool, see, electrons are pulled from wool to balloon. So the balloon has now more electrons. So the balloon now gets negatively charged, whereas wool, it transferred its electrons to balloon, so it gets positively charged. Examples of static electricities are rubbing a balloon on your hair or walking across carpet, clothes tumbling in the dryer. Or this is one more simple example. So combing your hairs with a comb. So combing transfers electrons from the hair to the comb by friction. So which results in a negative charge on the comb and a positive charge on the hairs. Now comes to triboelectric series. What it is? Means when two materials rub each other or contact and separate the polarity, it means positive or negative of the charges depends on their ability to hold or give up electrons. So here in this chart, the static electricity gets decreased according to this chart here. So this study, like this from here, like this. So this study has been done under controlled conditions by rubbing dissimilar materials against each other, means dissimilar materials against each other, and observing their tendency to either gain or lose electrons. So a material in triboelectric series has a tendency to get positively charged when rubbed against another material, which is ranked here, as you can see below. I have shown it here. For example, chart we can infer. This is the chart as I already told in the previous slide. So the creation of static charge depends upon material, applied forces, separation rate, temperature and relative humidity. Now comes to see how these static charges can be created. So these static charges are created by friction only. In this friction, two objects with different charges will come into contact and get separated with the friction phenomena. Here you can see here, when two dissimilar materials comes in contact with each other, and here these two dissimilar materials when come in contact with each other and separate, one of the material loses electron while other gains electrons. This is called triboelectric effect. So the material losing electrons become positively charged and material gaining electrons becomes negatively charged. So the charge is thus either gained or lost in this contact and separation process is limited to the surface of the material. So these static charges can develop by the changes in the temperature also. So change in temperature result in separation of charges in the atoms or molecules of certain materials. See, this is when there is no temperature, when we will give a heat to it, what will happen? There will be an imbalance of charges is reflected as a static electricity on the surface of the material. So this phenomenon is known as pyroelectric effect or heat induced charge separation. Next one is induction. By induction method also there will be a creation of static charges. When a charged object is brought near a neutral object, here it causes a separation of charges. Here it causes a separation of charges from the surface of neutral object. So this process results in a charge imbalance on the surface of neutral object and hence creates static electricity. This phenomenon is called charge induced charge separation. So, does friction always create a static charge? No. The answer is no, because different material have different strength of attraction for electrons. If two objects of the same materials are rubbed, no static charges will form, because it needs electrons to transfer, then only static charge will be appear. So both the materials which we are going to rub should be of different materials, not same materials. So if two different objects are rubbed, they will have different attraction to the electrons. The stronger one will take electrons away from weaker one and static charges build up. So there are some interesting facts also about the static charges. So static charges are lesser in humid climate and more in dry climate. These charges are more in synthetic and silk fibers as compared to cotton. So they are not seen on metallized fabric also. So elimination of static charges is a temporary phenomena. They can reappear in other processes and must be addressed in all key places. Permanent elimination of static charges is possible by the use of additives. Later on we will discuss about it. But they could be detrimental to the manufacturing process and hence not commonly used. So combination of many charged items can lead to extremely high charges. So at that time, that effect is known as battery effect. For example, a stack of sheets, layers or a winder, etc. Now with static electricity, there are few problems are created. What are these? There is a dust attraction on the fabric, operator hazard who are operating those textiles, and sparks leading to potentially hazard situation, slowing down of the process due to frequent stoppages and quality issues. To overcome all these problems, anti-static textiles were created. What are these? So anti-static textiles. Electric charges can cause fiber and yarn to repel each other, leading to a ballooning. To reduce this, it is applied by means of anti-static chemical treatment, the effect of which may be temporary or permanent. So now there are two types of anti-static finishes are there. One is non-durable finish and second is durable finish. What it is? Non-durable finishes. Non-durable anti-static agents are preferred for fiber and yarn processing finishes since ease of removal is very important. Here the ease of removal is very important. Other important requirement of spin finish and fiber lubricants are heat resistant. So we use non-durable finishes. So this group mostly contains hygroscopic materials. Hygroscopic materials include surfactants, organic salts, glycol, and at the maximum they are using quaternary ammonium salts and esters of salts of alkyl phosphonium acids. So the general requirement for non-durable antistats are they should have low volatility, low flammability. Not yellowing means they should be a heat stable, non-corrosive and low flaming. Here you can see here this is a phosphoric ester antistat. So ester of phosphoric acid form the largest group of non-durable antistats here. So quaternary ammonium compounds are the next largest group of non-durable antistats. Here this is a ammonium antistats. So difference between non-durable and durable finishes are, so in non-durable antistatic agents preferred for fiber and yarn processing, since they become give a very age for the removal of static electricity. For that they will use polymers or finishes with the esters of phosphoric acids, quaternary compounds, non-ionic compounds such as exhalated fatty esters and alcohol alkyl amines. Here the durable finishes, the basic principle is to form a cross-linked polymer. Here polyhydroxyl polyamines are used, polyacrylic polymers and polyepoxides are used, epoxides are used. Here you can see durable antistates, a variety of cross-linked. Here see this one and this one, here and here. See, cross-linking approaches can be used. One based on polyepoxides is shown below. Here you can see. So the amount of hydrophilic character in the final polymer can be varied to meet individual requirements. The larger the hydrophilic portions, the more moistures are absorbed and greater the antistatic effects obtained. So higher degree of cross-linking will reduce the moisture absorption and subsequent swelling, but antistatic effectiveness decreases in this. So additional difficulties with cross-linked hydrophilic polymers includes interferences with soil release and soil redeposition properties. Now comes to mechanism of antistatic finishes. The principal mechanism of antistatic finishes are increasing the conductivity of fiber surface. If there is an increase in the conductivity, which is equivalent to the lowering the surface resistivity and reducing frictional forces through lubrication. Antistatic agents that increase fiber surface conductivity form an intermediate layer on the surface. So this layer is typically hygroscopic in nature. So the increased moisture content leads to higher conductivity. What does it mean? The presence of mobile ions on the surface is very important for increased conductivity. The surface resistivity, as there is a surface conductivity is there, then there will be a surface resistivity. So the surface resistivity is defined as a material property of a substance whose numerical value is equal to the ratio of voltage gradient to the current density. So the resistivity is in effect the resistance of the fiber to electrical flow. So increasing conductivity produces a lower charge buildup and a more rapid dissipation, while increased lubricity decreases the initial charge buildup. So we will see it in the next slide what it is. So the effectiveness of hygroscopic antistatic finishes depends greatly on the humidity of the surrounding air during actual use. So lower humidity leads to lower conductivity. It means higher the resistance, and greater problems with static electricity. Here you can see viscose and cotton has less resistivity. It means they have a high conductivity, so air can pass from them, but the nylon, acrylic and polyester, among them polyester has a very high resistivity and low conductivity. How to attain antistatic property? We can attain an antistatic property on a textile fabric by reducing the charge, by increasing the surface conductivity, and by making the fiber hydrophilic. There are certain applications of anti-static textiles. They can be used as a carpets in computer room, upholstery fabrics, and as well as airbag for automobiles, conveyor belts, filtration fabrics, parachutes, fabrics for hospital operation room, and protective clothing for work with flammable gases, liquids as well as powdered solids. Thank you.